Hi friend, and welcome back to Marvelous Friends, your home for all things Marvel's Cinematic Universe and beyond. I'm Rhett, and today it's Funko Friday, and we're talking Avengers Gamerverse Funkos. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's roll that credit. First and foremost, I just want to say that I picked up actually pretty much this entire collection. The only thing I did not get is the regular Iron Man that is part of the collection. I opted for the Target exclusive, and then I know there was several exclusives out there for various places, but the main difference between the standard and that exclusive version was just glow in the dark. Again, with basically being stuck at home when this collection came out, I did not feel the need to try to go to a bunch of different websites and find all the different glow-in-the-dark versions. So I didn't get those. Everything I got here is just the standard version, no glowing features. But like I said, I did opt to get the Target exclusive Iron Man rather than the basic one. I also found out after the collection came out, I believe it wasn't actually even announced until after this collection came out, that there is another Funko out there featuring Abomination. More to come on that one. It is part of a mystery box from GameStop. I have already ordered that, but it doesn't come out for a while still, so I wanted to go ahead and record this, and then we'll talk about that Funko when it comes out. But it is technically part of this collection, which is the only reason I want to mention it, and I have already pre-ordered that box at this time that I'm filming. With that being said, let's jump into it. I'm going to start off with Iron Man himself. I, of course, as I said, I got the Target exclusive. This features him slightly hovering. He has that clear stand to kind of help give him that look. The Iron Man suit here is much more metallic, looking than the Funkos that we see in the film MCU versions. It seems like a little bit more ombre on his legs as well. Now this will be his basic suit available in the game. He will of course have different skins and stuff like that. We've seen some of that in the game trailers, but very cool. I like this one. I also liked his standard pose with him kind of doing that, as a Deadpool would say, hero landing on the knee. Also a very cool stance. Both of them were very dynamic in the fact that they were in movement or a different position. So I had a little bit of a hard time. I was tempted to almost get both, but I ultimately did just get the Target version rather than going out again and searching for both versions. But I believe actually when I ordered them, I did order them through Target with the exception of one, which you'll see. I could have gotten both. But anyways, besides the point, really like this one, Iron Man. I don't have a lot of Iron Man Funkos in general, so probably will display this one somewhere just because he's a character I don't really have represented in my collection anywhere, besides the little Tsum Tsum that sits there. So for that purpose, he will probably get displayed. I don't know if all this collection will be displayed at this time just because of space, as always, but he will be one I display for sure. Speaking of ones that will get displayed, I will probably display Captain America. I have a little section of my movie shelves over here dedicated to Captain America, and I have all the different Funkos I have featuring him, or at least most of them over there. This is a really cool tech suit. All of these are based upon the Stark suits from the game, so they all have a little bit more bulky, almost look a little robotic in appearance, a little bit more armored, like Iron Man's armor. I like how they are looking. Unlike a lot of his Funkos, I'm having to double check now on. A lot of his Funkos tend to feature him with the shield on his left. This one has a shield on his right. Not sure what the difference on the decision for that is. Sorry, I was just trying to point of reference my Funko collection over there. But yeah, I like it. I like this look for him. Very different from what we've seen, of course, because this is a little more heavy armored version of Captain America. And again, he had a glow-in-the-dark version where his eyes, I know, glowed. I wasn't sure what else glows, but I, of course, didn't go get that one. Just the basic one for me. Probably will add this one to my Captain America collection over there on the shelf, so it'll probably get displayed as well. But yeah, very cool, like it. I also like the Gameverse. There's been a lot of really cool Funkos that are part of the Gameverse. We've seen some unusual characters as part of the Gameverse, like what I have behind me. I have the Hulk featuring... Oh, crud, yeah, back here. From the Contest of Champions. I also have the Sharon Carter as Captain America. Fortunately, I have issues with that one standing up, even with its stand, so I don't keep that one displayed. Horror Apartment, thin plastic. it warps, so she doesn't like to stand up. But I really like the Gameverse collection. That's really cool. I don't think it gets as much attention because it's not directly comic book or MCU related, but the Gameverse ones are really cool. Definitely check those out as well. Another one I probably will put up somewhere is Taskmaster because he is one of my favorite villains. You see him now featured highly back here. We have his Taskmaster from Black Widow featuring the Hawkeye look, featured with all my Hawkeyes, and then we have the classic comic book one back there. I'll probably put this one up there as well. This is very much so his classic look from the comic books, sword and shield weaponry, skull head. Few aspects that are really cool. I like the detail from his sword and, of course, his shield. His shield's kind of like a clear plastic, and his sword is a really unique shape to it for this upcoming video game. Taskmaster I really like from the comic books. I like the idea of how he has this kinetic mimicry ability to his fighting style and how he's able to just watch someone fight and able to pick it up. It's really cool. I think it's a really interesting power in the fact that it's one of those things that actually people can do. There are people out there who can watch someone do something and then can replicate it instantly to perfection. So I think it's kind of that reason why he's one of my favorite ones, because it's kind of a realistic superpower. Maybe not to the degree that he does it, but still. Really cool. I like the look. It is bobblehead. I think all these are bobblehead. Yeah, I think all these are. I'll check. The other two I've already talked about are bobblehead. I just double checked, and I will double check as I go through. But again, you know, some of them are bobblehead, some of them aren't. But yeah, I really like the Taskmaster one. We'll definitely have it up here on the back with my other Taskmasters. So be watching for that in future videos. A character we haven't seen yet in Funkos is Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. Very interesting that she was highly featured in this upcoming video game, especially considering it came about the same time. The announcement regarding her own Disney Plus series that's going to be headed by Mindy Kaling, who I really enjoy her stuff. So I big hopes for the Miss Marvel Disney Plus franchise. I like this character. Again, very interesting choices on the costuming to kind of reflect the rest of the Avengers. I'm guessing this is probably a later suit because it is looking a little teched out, but it's not as techy as the rest of them because, of course, she's coming in on her own and trying to get the Avengers back together in the story of the video game. But I really like this one. I like how they interpreted the costume. I understand that the costuming and stuff like that is based upon the video game, not Funko itself. But I just have to mention it because I'm talking about it. Posing on this one is a little basic, but it would have been cool since she does have the ability to stretch and change the proportion of her body to maybe see that represented in the Funko, make it a little bit more dynamic, more interesting. But it is kind of cool to see this character finally come out for Funko because we haven't seen Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, in any of the Funkos. Speaking of characters I'm not necessarily super fond of the positioning for, I have Black Widow next. Now she has some cool details with her bow staff back there. It has kind of her electric spider bite charge that she is known for going up and down it. But it just feels like a pose I've seen before from her, especially in all the Funkos that are of her out there. She is highly featured one. I will say it is nice to see that this is very much so different than any of the poses that we saw in her collection that's dedicated to the film that's coming out, because we did receive a lot of Black Widow Funkos around this time with this collection, and then of course the collection dedicated to her movie. So seeing that, it is nice that it's such a different pose, but still there's something about it that reminds me of poses I've seen of the character previously. And one thing I have been enjoying is all the really cool things that Funko has been doing with the Pops lately, as far as posing and even some of the proportions, like with the Mr. Fantastic collection. Well, Mr. Fantastic is part of the Fantastic Four collection. We saw some cool things with his body being stretched and stuff like that. But it's really cool. Her accessory on this one is really cool because it has some dynamic aspects to the accessory. But overall, it's an okay one. This will be a storage for me for now. Maybe eventually I will display it when I have more space to display, like the whole collection. But overall, it's alright. It's an alright one for me. Next, we have Thor. I really like how Thor is looking in this game. He is a little Chris Hemsworth-esque, especially with the beard look and all that stuff, and not really wearing a helmet. So there are some aspects that really feel like the movie version of Thor to me, but I still like it in this version of him. You can't really see it here, but hopefully on the photo I put across, you can see it much better. He has that same blue plastic detail that Black Widow has, of like the lightning charge going around Mjolnir, which is really cool. And again, I know this isn't anything to do with Funko's choices, but I like the design here of the costume and how it has almost arc reactor-esque looking pieces on like the stud attachments on his chest armor. Kind of a nice detail. Again, I know that is a video game choice, not a Funko choice. But yeah, it's really cool. It looks like mine might have some slight decoloration in the cape, which is unfortunate, but it also could just be a little bit of dust from the factory that's on it that will wipe right off. I'll see when I take it out of the packaging to photograph it. Probably not one I will display either until I'm able to display the entire collection together in a future time where I have more space to do so. But just because I have to be selective right now, I have so many at this point in so little space, so I have to be a little bit more selective on which ones I display. So this probably will not be one that I display. The final basic one I have is Hulk. I really like how they incorporated the tech armor with Hulk, because of course he's not really one that needs it. He's super strong. His aesthetic really has him kind of exposed, except for his shorts. So I like how they interpreted that. And then of course he has kind of that arc reactor looking belt buckle on his pants. Really liked it. A little basic, so probably not one I will display as well as far as Hulk goes, especially considering I have some other Hulks I really like right now, such as him coming out of the Hulkbuster, and I have the Gamerverse version of him, which is, of course, not actually Bruce Banner, but I still like that one a little bit more. But what I do like a lot more, I did go ahead and get the Walmart exclusive on this one. So this one I ordered, of course, through Walmart.com. And I really like this one. This is one of the optional skins that you can get in the game. I'm not sure if how all that will work and stuff like that with the skins and whatnot, but you know, typically it's, you know, you reach certain milestones, you get skins. So this is kind of him done out in like war paint, gray body, and then skull painted and bones painted on him. Very cool. I like this one a lot. I will actually try to probably find a place to display this one. I might put it over here next to my TV, which is on this wall off screen, because I have the Venomized Hulk over there, and this would look really cool next to that one. I really like this one. He's looking a little shaggy. He has a little bit more of a beard on here, so we're seeing a little bit more Bruce Banner being held in the transformation with this one, which I also kind of like that idea. Kind of gives me in-game Hulk vibes. But yeah, I really liked this one, so I did go ahead and get this exclusive, unlike, of course, all the glow-in-the-dark versions that were out there. Basically anything, I think, I don't know if Camilla Khan had a glow-in-the-dark exclusive, but I know all the core Avengers did. But overall, I really like this collection. I think it's really cool. Like I mentioned before, I like the Gamerverse ones. There's some really cool Gameverse Marvel Funkos out there, so definitely go and check out those. There's not been as many as of late. Of course, there were a few for the Spider-Man game, and now these, but I'm hoping that we'll get more. It was also recently announced that there was a Spider-Man for PlayStation exclusive to the game, and Hawkeye will also be featured in a post-game series of missions. So I'm really excited for those. Maybe we'll get some Funkos later on regarding those, because we do, of course, sometimes see that once something releases and there's more information about something, a second line of Funkos come out. That happens a lot with movies, especially if there's Funkos that potentially would be spoilers. And of course, we do know that there's another one coming in Abomination, which is another one of the highly featured villains in the game. So maybe we'll get some more Funkos. I would really like, of course, personally, the Hawkeye one, and then I think maybe seeing what the Spider-Man will look like, and then maybe getting a Funko for him. Of course, Funko has a lot of Spider-Man, so I'm kind of on that one, because I'm running out of space to display all the Spider-Man. But, I mean, if they come out, I'll definitely pick them up. Let me know your thoughts on this collection down in the comments below. If I had to pick a favorite, probably for me would be either the alternative skin Walmart exclusive Hulk or the Taskmaster, and probably my least favorite would be the Black Widow, just because I have so much of her recently because of her own film collection. But I'd love to know your opinions down in the comments. Before you go, of course, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel and set alerts to get all my future videos on the channel. Until then, though, I hope you're having a marvelous day. Bye, friend.